30 seconds before you actually go live. Because it's saying that we're live, but it's still showing nobody. And well, I can see everybody. Oh, look at that. I can see me now. Well, I've had a great poet say the right thing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to ramble with the broom.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Jesse. I'm sitting here trying to talk to Chris behind the scenes to see how we were going to poke at this subject without getting
in trouble.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to skate around this subject a little bit, but it's nothing that is a lie. We have Chris has dug up a lot of figures out of the U.S., and I know here, farmers, homesteaders are getting haven't got a raise really in 12 years. It's pretty much stayed the same. And, whenever you're taking your livestock to the sale barn thinking you're going to get a good price, and you end up either breaking even or owing the sale barn after you leave, that's criminal. How they can justify charging you a fee, and with a big enough sale barn, they have this pre-planned, and it's not worth to carry your own breeding stock anymore. We'll get into some numbers here in a little bit, but it's going to be almost cheaper to purchase at a sale barn than it is to raise your stock. Tell me that isn't really crazy. But let's say hello to everybody here first, and let me go up to the top, and we've got Christian, and of course the mod father. Hey, Jesse. Fallen Arkansas veterans. Hey, Charles. And Rebecca. Hello. Yes, Rebecca. She's always one of the top 3 people in here. And who's that? LG Homestead. Never heard of her. Morning, Laurie.
Amy at Living in Abundant Grace.
I know. Amy's here. Look at we got a party going on, or a start. And then we've got Isaac. What's going on there, Ike?
Back road hillbilly.
Yeah, well, he's the third oldest of the little Southern brothers, or he's the oldest Southern brother. And then you've got Connor following right behind him. And yes, Backyard Hillbillies. And there's Laura, Hedgehog Homestead.
The Stock Explorer.
Hey, Nora. Give me a hashtag fuzzy cows. And let's see here. I think we actually made it almost right back. Oh, no, there's Jody Young.
Yep.
Hey, Jody. And
Big Matt's in the house.
Oh, I saw that. Big Matt. Well, he likes to sit and lurk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I'm waiting for Joe to show up, but I don't think he's here yet.
I'm at the bottom. I haven't seen him yet.
No. So, yeah, I'm at the bottom as well. So, as the new people pop in, we'll say hello. And thanks, Nora. And, I've got a talking about abundance. Joe sent me. Oh, hang on.
You're glitching.
There we go. Yeah, we got a glitch. Joe has sent me a ton of seeds. Oh man. And I finally got the Pineapple Express hot sauce. I can't wait for that.
Oh, that sounds good.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out why my camera was glitching. Oh well. Hey Heather, welcome in. And okay, I haven't missed anybody, but I just really don't want to get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing and then have people have to go back and replay it. Hey Tina, I resent out that package. Hopefully it gets to you this time.
I'm looking for something because I have.
Now, and there's there's MT Homestead.
Well, hello, MT.
I don't know who that is. It could be the broken rib Mike sitting or laying in the bed, or it could be Terry. You never know. I know Mike was stealing Terry's account yesterday, so
I'm gonna have to get. I don't like the envelopes that I have, so I'm gonna have to go get some later, so that I can get your seeds out to you.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it. Uh-oh. I've got to go in and change over to another camera. It seems like this one has bit the biscuit. I don't like this camera as much, but we got to do what we got to do.
Are you in a different location today?
Well, Debbie bought new curtains.
Oh.
And the other curtains were
blackout curtains.
Yeah, they were blackout curtains. These aren't. So I'm going to have to go down and make a new spot downstairs. No big deal. It's time that I vacated the dining room table anyways.
Tiny Tim and Tina Ladybug have shown up.
I know.
Hello, everybody.
Tiny Tim. Anyways, I'm going to...
Rustic Woodwork and Family. Hello. Tuber Chat. Welcome.
Okay, now let's see if I can flip over to my other camera. Sorry guys. Usually the one that Jesse and Lisa got me was, the best, but there we go. I think maybe it was there. That's much better. And now let's see here. I know everybody seems to be popping in the back door. There's Kevin at Tuber Chat. Welcome, Kevin. And
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go open the back door and let London out.
All right. So I appreciate that, Kevin. And like I said, I was muted whenever I said hello to either Brandon or Stephanie, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's Brandon. And yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a touchy subject today, but it's okay. YouTube won't affect them one way or another. But I know there is some people that'll be cranky that we're talking about it. But, I don't know how, like I said, Chris has got numbers going back to 2001. No, 2004. And beef prices have drastically, as a consumer, we all know, beef prices are through the roof. Well, the farmers, hey, Backyard Hillbillies, Yeah, girl, Lala, welcome. Woman Outdoors, welcome. Tiny Tim, I think I said hello, but here you go again. Hello. Um, beef prices keep going up and up and up and up. Well, the farmer keeps going bankrupt. They cannot sustain, feed. I'm going to tell you right now. I went to get cubes yesterday
Hi, Lala.
to give my calf.
Feather Hooper.
Hey, Heather, my
and
neighbor from
Woman
across the city.
Outdoors.
Yep. So cubes, they used to be not that much for, a 25-pound bag or 50-pound bag, whatever you wanted to buy. It's over doubled in the last month. So that means all the feed's on its way up. And
I was talking to my local feed store guy, the guy I use, and he told me that he was like, as feed prices go up, my prices have to go up.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he said
that's it.
they just keep steadily rising. They haven't jumped like huge numbers right off the bat. But I know I went from paying $140 for my month's worth of feed to now over $200 for a month's worth of feed.
Yep. So lick barrels, just an all around healthy mineral lick barrel with no preservatives. That's the big key. No fillers. Has almost tripled since the fall, and it had stayed the same for quite a while, but the feed store couldn't sustain that many jumps. And
my neighbor, I talked to him yesterday, and he's been looking for about a week now for some of those, one for each farm.
Yep.
And he finally found 2 in Tahlequah. They didn't have any in Siloam. They didn't have any in Jay. They didn't have any in Pryor. Like, there were 0 of those mineral buckets. And, he said that they're a lot. He said they're a lot higher now than they were a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yep. And you're 100% right, Charles. It's the fertilizer, the nitrogen, seeds. It's all through the roof. And, seeds we used to get at the dollar store, you can't get them anymore. They're not even, they're low end seeds that they carry now, and now they want $4 a package instead of $1.
Yeah. Well, and that's like I know,
and that's this size. Get a tractor trailer load of it and tell me, cash crops. Again, they're going to run everybody out of business with cash crop.
I was talking to one of the chicken farmers, and they're selling litter right now to the big semis, those that are coming in with the big semis. They're selling their chicken litter for, I think it was $9 a ton. Between $9 and $12 a ton.
Yeah.
And in reality, I mean, it's gone up.
Yeah.
But it's still not that bad.
No. So who was it here? Oh, Woman Outdoors. Everything's going up in moderation. A lot of things were blamed on the hokey pokey. Well, you know what? The hokey pokey was a scapegoat. From the numbers that I've seen in Canada, I can't speak for the US, but through all the people, the majority of people are much better off after the 2 years than before. Jobs, if you want to work, I'm sorry. There is so many jobs here. Like they just built a new old age home, seniors resident. Not a no, it's a long term, like full on old age home, and they can't get the staff. They had to shut down a full wing because they can't get the RPNs or whatever else. They've offered to send these people to school for free to go get their diploma or whatever they need. Like I honestly, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, it wasn't. People passed. People got very, very sick. I get it. But farmers, ranchers, in 2 years, this stuff has went through the roof. And you look at our Wyoming life, Mike and Aaron, they used to maintain a herd of about 150. They've got 5,000 acres. They haven't been able to cut hay in 3 years. If they don't get rain soon, this will be year 3 or 4 that they've had to buy hay. And they can't buy it around Wyoming. It's coming out of Arkansas. Water. Huh? Hey, coastal
water.
So, it's just, I don't know, as homesteaders and whatever else, now, most homesteaders process their own meat. But as a small hobby farm is what Rob calls the farm where my animals are.
Which is what we are, as a little hobby farm.
Yeah, he's a little bigger than you. Like, he's got 27 head right now. Hopefully all the girls are pregnant. They're all beefing up, so I'm thinking they've either eaten really, really well this winter or they're pregnant. And hey, Retro, I just, at some point, is going to be a breaking point to, oops, no wonder there's nothing in the grocery store. Like cash crops, corn. People can almost not afford to plant corn. Between the nitrogen, the seeds, the pH, like these guys, 1 year can bankrupt an entire family. And I mean,
I actually looked at some of those prices.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah. But it,
wheat. like if you're a wheat farmer,
yeah,
right now is the time to be a wheat farmer, because they are paying out they're paying lower price. I mean, it's not a good time to be any kind of like wheat, corn, no cash crop, because they're not paying as much for the crop, but the price per bushel has skyrocketed.
It's one of those crops that if they get hit by hail, you're bankrupt. And these people have to take out crop insurance. Well, there's 40 each farm that's roughly 2,000 to 3,000 acres. That, like, I'm talking the people that fill our food stream. Big farmers. Hey, living MN outdoors. I'm thinking Minnesota outdoors. But it's just, we're locked in fertilizer at $1,200 per ton for 13. Wow.
You got lucky.
You jumped at the right time. And, but I know other guys that go year to year because they can't afford to lock in because they're dealing with 5,000 acres. And, you know, the
I know in our area, my neighbor was looking at fertilizer costs where he typically buys his fertilizer at.
Yep.
And this time last year,
Yep.
it was like between $300 and $400 a ton, and it's around $900 a ton now for the exact same stuff.
Mhm. That's triple.
That's triple
That's
what it was.
That's
And he's
2/3.
like, I can't afford to put fertilizer down on the hayfield. That's why we started, talking to these chicken farmers right here close
Mhm.
to us, because if we can get it, $9 to $12 a ton for chicken litter, I mean, it's going to be more beneficial for us to do that and split the cost to fertilize both places than it would be to split the cost of, the liquid fertilizer or, I think it's 1911 or something like that he was looking at.
Yeah. So where we get our pigs, he does sell the pig droppings out of his pond. One of his sons makes a living, a very, very good living, delivering pig slop. But a lot of the farmers up here that have any type of acreage, they can't afford fertilizer anymore. So they're going natural.
Well, and that's like Sarah's done some research, and rabbit droppings are a good all natural organic time release.
Oh yeah, you can put them on. It's not hot.
Yeah. So we're right now, she's taking all of those and putting them in a box, and she's going to dry it out and bag it up, and we're going to start selling that.
Yeah. Once you get big enough and you get enough rabbits going, absolutely. Like there's a market for that. Like that's just home gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Another huge avenue up here. What the mushroom? We have several places up here that grow mushrooms. Well, all this stuff, I guess there's a byproduct in mushroom. I don't know. I buy mushrooms at the grocery store and fry them up, and they're good. But there's a trick to growing them, and you can lose like a quarter of your crop with one little oops. Well, now they've turned out, they mix it into compost. It's probably one of the it's a cold compost, much like rabbit droppings. They mix it with, I think, 3 other different composts and topsoil.
We have mini Rexes.
$25 for a 50-pound bag of mushroom compost. And that's what I use on my gardens. I'm fortunate. My friend hauls it in here and he sells it. So I get it at I think it cost me $50 for a half-ton load.
Yeah.
So
that's not bad. Live in Minnesota outdoors. We have mini Rexes right now. We've just bred our male and female mini Rexes. Well, one of our females is of age. The other 2 are not yet. But if they do fairly well, then we are going to get meat rabbits as soon as I have a place to put them.
So I was just figuring out. Charles said diesel. Absolutely, Charles. Diesel. Now, we all know what you guys range from three. The most I've heard for diesel is about $4.99.
No,
Diesel,
I was in a live yesterday, I believe it was.
yeah,
And somebody had said that diesel in their area was like over $8 a
that's
gallon.
Canada. That's
No,
Canada. Right now, we're $8.35 a gallon for diesel.
that was in the US. Yep. Up in
I
the
don't think
north,
so.
like up around Maine somewhere. There was a guy that I had
It's
seen that
still
said that
$4. It's still. I think he was fudging the numbers, because I know if you go on gasbuddy.com, type in Maine, nowhere in the U.S. is over $5 that I've been able to see.
I know that in Illinois, because I was getting ready, I was going to be taking a trip up there yesterday.
Yep.
And gas, there was somebody that said where they live in Illinois, it was $7.77 for just regular gasoline.
Wow. And our normal gas up here is $8.19 a liter, or $8.19 a gallon.
There,
So
in California, it's over $8 a gallon.
yeah. Well, they were saying
there's a lot of people looking to move out of California because of that.
Well, and I also did some research on that, and the breakdown of U.S. You guys purchase 52% of your gas and diesel from Canada. Then you purchase from Russia. Well, he shut off Russia now. And we only, in Canada, we are more like Iran, Iraq. We purchase more that end. Russia is only 2% of what goes on in Canada. So why we're seeing such a huge jump, I can't figure it out, because we've only lost 2% whenever he said they shut down. Oh, there you go. Jesse just looked. Gas Buddy, Maine Gas Buddy reports lowest is $3.99, highest is $5.68 for diesel in Maine.
Live in Minnesota Outdoors said that it's $5.29. He's looking at it across the street.
Yeah, $5.29.
And that's in Minnesota.
Yeah. And you know, like, so I'm kind of going down a wrong rabbit. It's not really the gas prices that is the issue of today, although it is a major. So there, yeah, California is from $4.79 to $9. That's ridiculous. But I can see, you know, I forget what it was. It was between 10 and 15% that you guys were Russia, that you use Russia oil.
Live in Minnesota says it was less than 10%.
Not the report I read yesterday. But anyways, even that, you know.
But we're getting off topic.
Yes, we're getting way off topic. But yet it's all contributing to why people just can't afford, you know, why we're doing what we're doing, why we're raising our own food. Unless you both your, you know, wife and husband work, you honestly can't afford. Now, we're very, very, very fortunate. Hey, Brooklyn's honeybees. We're very fortunate we have not. Our grocery stores have been packed, so we're not seeing that kind of shortage that you folks are down there. And they did try last fall to bring Mexican meat up here. It didn't sell. I figured I'd give it a shot. It was cheap. It looked good. You cook it up, and it was as hard as the table. And I eat my meat rare. So
You
if a
have to
rare steak,
tenderize it because it's a very lean meat.
it wasn't. It was so. I would equate. It was pretty much the equivalent to an Angus. The meat, like the layers of fat that went through it, and
That's
like it was
crazy.
nowhere near our Highland, and our Highland is the leanest cattle there is. Like there's just no disputing that.
That's like when I took mine in to freezer camp.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked about the place I took it to was that they were getting ready to do all the processing and stuff on it. And the butcher himself called me and was like, "Hey, dude, we're getting into this. There's like no fat on this thing. It's going to be best if we just grind it all." And I was like, "Well, I recently had surgery and stuff, so the leaner the meat, the better for me. I have to have the leaner meat. I can't have all the fat."
Yeah.
So I told him to just go ahead and cut it like I had originally suggested. And he was like, "All right, not a problem." But for them to take the time out to call me and go, "Hey, this is what we're looking at. This is our suggestion." That was awesome. Because a lot of processors won't do that. They'll just, "Oh, that's what he wants. All right, that's what he's going to get." And, we paid 71 cents a pound.
Jesse, I kind of figured that was going to happen. It would cost you, it would cost you a ton of money to come up here right now. I knew in the back of my head that I was just waiting for it.
So, I mean,
hey, Matt,
it was cheaper for us to raise that steer and to take it to the processor, because we ended up getting right around, I think it was, we split it between 3 people, and every one of us got around 98 pounds of meat, or 96 pounds of meat, something like that. Not bad. 96 to 98 pounds of meat is going to last me and Sarah all year, if not into next year.
Yep.
And it was so much cheaper to do it that way, which we got lucky. We made some trading out and stuff like that, and we didn't pay for our steer.
Of course. That's the whole thing.
We were lucky to have a great friend in Lori over at LG. She didn't have the grass at the place she was at to keep them, and so we brought them both over here because we had plenty of grass here on the farm for them to be grass fed. And so we were lucky to be able to get one of those steers from her, and literally, I mean, it was so much cheap. I mean, it's going to be cheaper for us to go to the sale barn and buy a yearling calf.
Yeah.
Just a young, freshly winged calf.
But if you have the grass
and raise it,
sell one for yourself, and you can split it with another family, your first steer pays for your second. So
Yep.
again, and that's why I love Highland. That's all they do is eat grass and hay. That's like, you wanted to see the girls. Is that video out? No. There'll be a video coming out soon. We weaned.
I just had one drop at like 10:30 this morning.
I know. I already watched it and commented. But we did the wean. Well, we had 2 or 3 bales of, like, round bales of green hay. Well, we haven't heard a word from those mamas. Usually they bawl for a week. The mamas are laying beside the green hay, just sitting there eating it. And, so yeah, it does take a little bit longer for our cattle to gain weight. But guess what? I can honestly say they are 100% grass-fed, except for the last month. With the Highlands, you got to get a little fat on them the last month, and you feed them corn and molasses with some oats. And that just changes the taste just a wee little bit. But it just puts like a perfect amount of meat, of fat. I have a series coming out of dispatching and processing. Getting it ready to hang. I have over an hour of footage. So I'm going to do probably 3 20-minute series or sections. Well, the guy that actually did the skinning, and dispatching, he's worked in a slaughterhouse pretty much his whole life, except for the last 5 years. Just it got too hard on him, processing these great big cattle. He said it's probably one of the best, like, cattle he's processed in a long time.
You can make a good rug out of Highlands.
What's that?
I said you can make a good rug out of Highlands.
Well, see, you could if you take your sweet, sweet time. But unfortunately, the way that they feed them over here, there's not a whole lot of fat. So you end up nicking the fur.
The fur.
Which puts holes in the... So I will take my time when the time comes, and I will do it myself. I don't care if it takes me all day, and I lose just a wee little bit of meat. I will ensure that is ready. I'll have a nice furry rug. I'll put it that way. But yeah, no, it's awesome. And but again, getting back to the processing, Rob and them sent 4 good sized, well, I guess they were roughly about 16 months. So they were 700-800 pounds, and half decent. The sale barn heard that they were coming. Somebody from another province who they knew wanted it and was a friend.
Hey, random and proud.
Hey.
Greg's cabin.
Hey, Greg. Came, and guess what? After processing fees at the stockyard and everything, they made not even $100 per. So I think they made like $378 is the check they got, which is highway robbery. And
so my neighbor keeps a real close eye on cattle prices and stuff because he sells cattle and stuff. He sells his cattle and stuff at the sale barn. And he said there was a farmer who brought cattle in, and after all of the fees and the commission and everything like that, he actually owed the sale barn money after selling all of his cattle off. He
And
still
again,
had to pay. He ended up having to pay the sale
that's
barn
robbery. That's robbery.
to
There's
sell his own
no
cattle.
way. There's no way the sale barn should have let those go. He should have had those returned to him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
And that's what they do up here. If you're not going to at least break even, you get your money back.
Well, that's
Or
like
sorry, you get your animals back.
when I sold my horses.
Okay.
They told us that as long as they were still in the ring, we could not accept the price that they sold for. So they were
Okay.
still bidding on my horse when they sent him out of the gate. So they sent him out of the ring. They were still bidding on him. So when the final bid came down, I couldn't say no because he had already left the ring. I wanted a minimum of $1,000 for him. Now, granted, he brought just over 900, but still, you know, I wanted 1,000 for him, and because they sent him out of the ring, I couldn't dispute it.
Yeah. And that's the problem is there. And I'm not saying all sale barns are the same, but it seems the majority seem to be, they're taking an awful big chunk from buyer and seller to do nothing, to run them down an alleyway into the chute, let them walk around, and then run them back to to their pen, and they're making $200 or $300. That's if you have between 5 and 10 cattle go through.
Yeah. He was saying, my neighbor was telling me that there are people down around, not far down the road from us, and they're actually taking all of their cattle into Missouri because the commission rate is so much lower there and stuff than it is in the Oklahoma, Arkansas area. So there are a lot of places, even down into Texas, they're taking them up into Missouri that used to bring them into Arkansas and Oklahoma. They're taking them all the way up into Missouri because it's cheaper for them to haul them all the way to Missouri and sell them there than it is to bring them in this area and sell them here.
Yep.
Yeah, they're paying a little bit more in gas prices, but they're making more up there. So it offsets.
And again, this is why folks have to start looking out for themselves. And
I'll be right back.
And yeah, you honestly make up to on a full-sized steer between 1,000 1,500 pounds. I'm talking Angus or a larger breed. The farmer can make at the farm gate upwards of $3,000 on that animal. Or send them to the sale barn and make at the most $600. It's going to take a large steer, cow, bull, whatever. Usually the bulls go separately, but you got bred cows. I'm sorry, you don't. if you're not careful, I know a lot of my friends have got into trouble lately. Not into trouble, but they've bought either cows that are supposedly bred, and it turns out after they purchase, they're not. We'll try to go back on the sale barn on that. And, it's just, I'm 90% of your larger producers or your larger farmers, ranchers, guess what? They're all selling it on the ranch. Now, 90% of it is all US, as long as it's USDA inspected in the States or stamped up here in Canada. CSA, or I forget what it is up here.
CAI.
Yeah, something like that. You can sell per steak in a clean farm store. And there's so many people that are turning around and doing it. It's the cost is, well, like I said, just the offshoot of raising these things are costing way too much money. We're scared to order our pigs this year. Our pigs should be in within 30 days. He still hasn't told us a price. And last year we paid $1.50, but if you remember, like, our pigs were long and lean and, had a lot of bacon in it, which we like. I like bacon. So, it was a good breed for us. Is it a little much? Yeah, it's a little high. Whenever we can go across the river into Quebec and bring home a, probably 2 piglets for $150, but you don't get the bacon. So it's one of those things there, the sale barns and everybody else is making a ton of money, except for the people that are actually doing the work. Hey, buddy.
So that's like when I was doing my research, I asked, I just typed in this question and this article came up, and it's U.S. cattle ranchers say that they aren't profiting from sky-high costs of beef. And his name is Fred Stokes. He's the one that they were interviewing.
Hey, Granny's Garden.
The question was, are you getting more money for your cattle? Oh, this was Pfeiffer. He said, no, we're not. For more than a decade, retail prices of beef have been steadily rising, going from $6.81 to $12.28 per pound for sirloin steak between 2001 and now. Over the same time, the price for live cattle has stayed flat, between $120 and $160 per hundredweight. So what that means is they're selling out for $100 per 100 pounds. So if you have a 900 pound, steer or whatever, so you've got 900 pounds and you multiply that by 120. Well, no, that's not right. I'll have to figure it up now. Divide that by 120. I mean, you're looking at, well, most of them weren't selling at that, but
no, that's very high.
Yeah,
to have anything.
That's your average weight. So, I mean, You're probably looking at making around maybe $2,000 off that one. You know, if they weigh,
That's
well, not even
too
that.
high.
That's way too high. You're probably looking at around,
Up here, the most they ever pay is because you're yearling, you're about six to 800 pounds. You're
yeah. So
getting a
you're
buck.
looking,
You're getting a $1.19 at the very highest. And now take off your trucking costs and take off your fees. You're down to
well, I'm
less than
saying
buck
before
a
your
pound.
before your
Yeah.
fees, before all of your fees and everything, you
And your
know,
feed.
and your feed and everything like that, you're looking at around 2,000 before everything's deducted. Once you deduct everything, you're looking at probably $600 or $700, and that
Roughly.
still
Yeah.
might be a little high.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just for your cap, you know, for your smaller, even your larger ranches, you know, it's a struggle for them, you know, when they have to deduct all of those costs, and you're making nine, you know, I think one of the reports that I saw was on the high side, 90 cents a pound
Wow.
right now.
And now,
And that's right, you know, right now. So I mean, it's ridiculous. I know that right now, um, the price of cattle is up. Because I've been looking at the national. I've looked at national and I've looked at Oklahoma,
okay.
just the state of Oklahoma. So the national average for the North Central region for 600 to 700 pounds this week was $184.68. Last week it was $184.99.
Okay.
And this is for feeder and stock cattle.
Yeah.
Last year was $155.01. That's for 600 to 700 pounds. 700 to 800 pounds last week or this week was 165.18. 168.24 was last week, and last year was 143.04. 890 pounds, 800 to 900 pounds last week was 154.12. Or this week, last week was 157.67, and last year 133.44.
Yeah.
So the price of cow, you know, it's gone up quite a bit.
Still doesn't cover the cost of fuel.
No, because the cost of fuel is so high.
Yeah.
The South Central for 500 to 600 was 194.12 this week. Last week was 193.02, and last year was 164.47.
Yeah. But
And
you see,
it's like that all across the region. You know,
Yeah.
This week they're high. Last week they were either a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But compared to last year, it's quite a bit higher. But when you factor in the cost of feed has gone way up, the cost of fuel has gone way up. You know, when they're doubling and tripling in price, and the price of cattle is only going up, what,
pennies.
40 to $90?
Yeah.
You
Hey, Remy.
can't afford it. And on this national summary that I've got, and it's from the USDA Livestock, Poultry, and Grain Market News. And it actually came from St. Joseph, Missouri. And this is as of Monday, March the 7th.
Like it just and what it is, and I'm going to be quite honest. All that it's going to do is drive up the prices at the supermarket because everybody's holding back their beef.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why the price has gone up, because nobody's taking the yearlings, or sale barns are pretty much, if you have cattle that you wouldn't process to eat, you sell it to the sale barn. That's all that they're getting at the sale barns right now.
Well, and these stockyards that are selling to the process, or not the process, the big processor plants. So there's, I saw it earlier. There's like 4 or 5 major processors, large processing plants in the United States. They own 80%. Well, they're either shutting down plants, or
there's 3 great big processors right now. There's Tyson.
So you've got Tyson,
and then there's one large one in Texas. And didn't
Conagra?
Didn't the guy from Microsoft, what's his name, Bill Gates, buy into the big one in Texas? Is that telling you something? If Mr. Gates is buying a processing plant, that's telling you right there, there's lots of money. Well, the farmers are starving, and they're just not taking their time to think about, what are we actually doing here? Well, you've starved out your food chain.
Well,
it's
and
very
they're on the because this shows, on this graph, it shows 2022, 2021, and then a 5-year average. So right now, feeder cattle, you're looking at around $160 for January, February, and March. 2021 went from around 135 all the way up to about 160, 163 roughly. But the 5-year average for a year, the high side was $150.
You're absolutely correct, Charles. He is.
So for slaughter steers, the highest 5-year average was around $120. That's 5-year. That's your 5-year average.
Now it's not 100. That's $1.60 per pound. That's
CWT,
not 120
that's
per
cattle
100.
weight. That's your cattle weight. So it's $120 for your cattle weight.
Oh, okay. No. I see what you're doing. You're doing it on the 100. So up here, what they do is, our measurement at our sale barn is per the pound. So
and ours
your dollar
is too.
Yeah, your 100 pound at 168. Well, we'd be $1.68. That's how they measure it, because we go by pound, not by.
Well, when we're at if you're at the sale barn, they do it by the pound. Sometimes they do it by the pound. Sometimes they do it by, if they're not getting anything going, then they'll go, okay,
hey Vanessa,
$80, for the whole thing. $100 for the whole thing. I wanted to find the average on where it was per pound, but I hadn't found a good report with it per pound.
I don't think you will, because they don't want that information out.
So, I mean, they're doing it by the thousand, by the 100,000, by by the 100.
Yep.
So that's how they're breaking them down.
Yep.
But
and it's
when
really
you're
sad.
looking at $140 for 2022, whereas your 5-year average was down around 120,
Mhm.
but then you look at 2022 and you go, okay, well, diesel is on average, we'll say on average $6 a gallon on average, and you're running a semi load full and you're putting 200 gallons of diesel in your truck.
I've seen a
And
lot
you
of
have to
guys
deduct that.
with large tanks. They're putting $1,000 in.
Easy. There was a guy the other day I'd run across. He said that for him to go to a doctor's appointment, it was going to cost him like $1,500 in fuel one way
Mm-hmm.
to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because he has to go to a specialist, and the specialist that he has to go to is on the other side of Oklahoma, and he's on the other side of Arkansas.
Yeah.
$1,500 in fuel one way.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
So
he had to cancel his appointment.
I don't have a large tank on my half ton. It's 2017 Dodge Ram 1500, and it was on the upper side between half and 3/4. It was closer to 3/4. Our price of gas is supposed to go over $2 a liter this weekend. So I jammed as much as into my truck as I could, and I fit $80 for a quarter of a tank.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I go from here to McDonald's out to the farm. So I'm hoping that's going to last me about 2 months. But I know it's not going to, because we got to go get feed. And that's triple the price now. So, like a lot of people are, how can you afford it? I don't know if I can next year.
So I know we've got several people from Oklahoma in chat too.
Yeah.
So I looked up just Oklahoma for them. And I did the weighted average. I'm looking at the weighted average report for just the state of Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so I just figured up the first one. So it was a total of there was probably close to 3, maybe 4,000, or maybe 3 or 4. No, we're probably looking at about 2,000 to 3,000 head total.
Yep.
So I took all the average weights and put them in, and then all the average prices and put them into Excel to give just that average. So it's the average of all the averages and the average of all the average prices.
Mm-hmm.
Just the what is it? The steers medium, and there was one large, and this is what I figured at just for the state of Oklahoma. The average weight of all of those averages for those 2,000 to 3,000 head was 618.3529 pounds. So roughly 619 pounds was the average of all of those weights. The average price of taking all those, because the way they break it down is you have the head, the weight range, the average weight, the price range, and then the average price. That's how they break it down. And I just took the average weight and the average price. So the
Okay.
average price of all of those averages was $182.30 for 618 pounds.
That's disgusting.
Which is why a lot of people are taking their cattle up to Missouri, because
Yeah.
they're paying more for cattle in Missouri, and their fees at the sale barns are less.
Mhm.
So they're able to recoup some of their money.
Yeah, not a whole lot, but
It's
some.
not a whole lot, but they are able to offset some and actually
Yeah.
make a little bit of money instead of lose money.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, and it's not only cattle. It's
That's
no.
chicken, that's turkey, that's pigs, it's all across the board.
Mhm.
Um,
So I thought, like up here, for bison, um, they're selling hamburger $16 a pound.
oh yeah, without a doubt. I believe it. It's pretty close to that here.
Mm-hmm. It
In
is, because I looked up a large processor. One of the large folks, um, who has bison in Oklahoma, and he's selling his at $116 for 8 pounds. 4 pounds of burger and 4 pounds of ground meat. So that works out to $14.50 a pound.
I'm gonna tell you, if I could afford to go out to the Pennsylvania West Virginia line,
Mm.
I would take a trailer and go out there, because
Well, I saw your discussion yesterday.
yeah, I mean, I was talking with Leanne over at Mennonite, and they're selling their Jersey bulls for like $20 for like $20. They're calves.
What?
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I didn't see that.
oh yeah, that's why I was like, well, do you think your husband would sell some of the young cows? Because if I could get a couple of young cows and a little bull calf,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Why not drive out there and get it? But the price of fuel is too high for me to make that trip.
Well,
I wouldn't.
how far is it?
Let me look.
Because I just yeah, I just you at that point you almost have to like it'd be crazy for you not to, even if you could get 3 head. 5 would be optimal, but if you could get 3 head and pre-sell like 2 of them, that would pay for 90%, and you can sustain that in your property.
From my house to Cumberland, West Virginia, which is right, it's about mid of the West Virginia line there, where it meets Pennsylvania. just on the West Virginia side, it's 1,046 miles.
Okay, sorry. I just was asked another question here too. Go ahead.
So from my house to Cumberland, West Virginia,
Yep.
which is just on the West Virginia side of the West Virginia-Pennsylvania line.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
not far
know,
from there.
I don't know where she's at exactly, but I just kind of took a rough estimate.
Yeah.
But that's 1,046 miles.
So you'd need minimum 2 hotel stays.
Yeah, because it's
And
16 hours and 33 minutes
yeah,
to get
you
there.
can easily do.
So
You
1,000.
could almost do that in a day, sleep, and then on the way home. But like I'm saying,
1,000
two hotel stays, and especially with the way you're feeling.
times 2 equals
Hey, Mr. Jim.
times, we'll say $6. No. I don't know how I would break that down to figure up. So that would be at least 3 fill-ups on the way there and 3 on the way back at about $100. So I'm looking at about $600 in fuel there and back.
You'd be looking at $1,000 trip with the cattle on top.
Yeah, so say I bought 2 bull
5
calves and 3 heifer calves.
Yeah.
At $20 to $60 a head. Yeah, I'm looking at
$600 at the most for
fuel.
if you were to get 10 would be $600. So you're looking at $300 for 5. So for $1,300, you can get 5 calves. Wow. And I get it. It's a cross country. It's something that, but for $1,300,
cost wise, it's not bad. I mean, when you look at it overall, that's not bad at all. But now, if I was still working, or
absolutely.
if Sarah was working, and we had an extra $1,300 or $1,500,
that's why if you could to pre-sell 2,
even then I
for
would
your trip plus.
I would have to raise them first. So if I got calves, they would have to be around 500-600 pounds to turn around and sell to make anything on them. And after, I would have to sell them off the farm, because if I took them to the sale barn, I wouldn't make anything. And possibly could lose money. And so hey, Patty Price. So
hey, Patty.
I'm getting ready to start doing some looking around our area for farmers who are willing to sell freshly winged calves, and see what see if we can just buy them straight from them instead of them taking them to the sale barn and see what we can get them for.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
yeah. And
I may, say, okay, I can give you, $150, for a calf, and then be like, you're not going to make that at the sale barn.
Yo. But again, you're selling it for meat. You're not selling it at the sale barn. Sale barn, you're not going to make any money.
Right.
But, what you have to do is look at your pasture, how big your pasture is, and how many you would be able to raise off.
Sustain.
Yeah, that's it. Because you're going to need hay. So,
well, my hay is taken care of. I don't have to worry about hay.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, your next door, you're pretty much covered for hay. But
Right.
how long can you sustain X number of cows on your property, to get them to a weight where it's worthwhile to slaughter?
So,
Or to send to freezer camp, sorry.
So we have figured it up. We figured it up when we first bought this place and was looking to get cattle.
Yeah.
We could sustain. I mean, we can sustain more than this, but we figured up 6 head.
Okay.
We have, like I said, our pasture butts up to 2 other pastures.
Yeah.
Both of them hay fields. Plus, they planted sweet Bermuda on this. So I've got the sweet Bermuda and whatever is on both these other pastures, which do very, very well.
Yeah.
Every year they do very, very well. So that has come over onto us as well. So we could sustain. I mean, we had a total of 13 head on ours at one point in time, and that was too many.
Yeah.
But we also had 3 horses. So between the 13 head of cattle and the 3 horses, we couldn't sustain all of them.
Yeah. Just give me 1 sec. I'm just trying to do something here. I save changes. Okay. Sorry. I had somebody, I don't know if you can see that person over in the chat or if it's only me, but I was streaming on Twitch as well. And well, I just had a not so nice fella talking about communism and what's going to happen. So I just had to shut down my feed on Twitch. So, Felino, bye-bye. He's gone. Hey, JB Conway, how are you? And
so, I mean,
yeah.
Hey, JB.
Exactly. But it takes money to save to make money.
Right.
It's the whole thing. And, it's unfortunate that farmers, ranchers are holding back on the cattle because, so we're starting this whole thing. And
so in my research, it's not the farmers holding back their cattle. That's not the issue. The issue is that these processing plants have said, well, we're only going to take X number of cattle. Or they're shutting down plants to where only other plants can only sustain X number of cattle. So now the farmers have nowhere to put them. They have nowhere to take them. And that's on this larger scale. The larger processing plants. So they're only saying we're only going to take X number of cattle per month or per year. Well, now when you have these larger ranches that have, 3, 4, 5,000 head of cattle on them,
Yeah.
and you've got, say, 50 of them, maybe a third, if you're lucky, of
Mhm.
all that cattle is going to go to the processing plant.
But like I
So
said,
what do they do with the rest of them?
there's so many farmers that I know personally. They are holding back the inventory because the sale barn, if you're making $300 after all your expenses and you've put a year plus into this animal, unfortunately, I saw a couple people, and I'm not picking on you, Nora, but she said, turn fuzzy cows into pets. Every animal on the farm has a job, or they're not on the farm. Like every animal on that farm has a purpose. Some's to feed, some's to make money, some's to clean up. Every animal on the farm. But right now, you can't afford to have a farm full of pets. Well, I guess you could, but
You could, but you're going to go broke.
Exactly.
I mean, in all
Like I
reality,
said,
you're going to go broke.
I don't know how we're going to sustain even my one. I should my calf's already paid for, so I'm good. But next year, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it. And my pig, we could be paying upwards of $250 on a feeder pig within 30 days. And now feed it. And whenever feed has went up 300%. And the price of diesel, gas, just in the farm, just to run the tractors. Up here, we've had so much snow lately. Those
That's
tractors have
right.
been running the blowers and everything else, trying to keep everything, like keep the animals fed. And, our lick tubs, we're looking to see if we can even afford them this year.
That's like, Jesse said, every animal has to earn his or her keep, the circle of life.
Unfortunately, that's right.
I
That's
mean,
right. There's no free rides on a farm. I'm sorry.
you cannot sustain
No.
as a pet farm. I mean, the only way that you could do that is if you charged people and had a small petting zoo. But
Or
then you
you
have
get
all of those red tapes to go through.
Yeah. Not to take it off topic, but I know Jody and everybody's in here. Can you please put my dad in your prayers? He was just rushed to the hospital.
We'll do.
So they're thinking cardiac. Yeah, I'll know more here in a bit, but mom just sent me a message that, dad's just being taken to the hospital. So if we can put him in your prayers, that would be amazing. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. So, yeah.
Brooklands honeybees.
Yep, Brooklyn's honeybees. Yep.
If you're still in chat, I just got your comment on that video that dropped today, and thank you for coming by.
Awesome. Yeah, that was funny.
Did
you
come
read my
over
comment?
from you?
Perfect. Did you read my comment?
I did. And mine wasn't a sandbox. It was more of a mud box.
Either way.
Tomato. It all works.
No, Patty. They live quite a piece away. And up here, our hospitals are still closed. So I'd have to sit out in my truck. So there's nothing I can do right now. I can't do anything, Jess. The hospitals are closed. I can't even get in. I don't even know if mom's going to be able to get in. So. It's all good.
As long as you get some updates.
Well, that's it. Mom's texting me here, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But
It's literally your off-grid guys, your prepping guys, the small homesteaders, small farmsteaders that grow their own food,
yeah,
and I'm looking to do, I'm looking to get, hopefully, to get seeds off of some of my fruits of labor this year,
Yeah.
depending on what gives me seeds, or I have to look and see how to do it, like to get seeds from my broccoli and stuff like that. But
yeah,
everything we plant, we're going to try to do. We're going to try to get seeds from.
well, that's it. And Debbie's like, why
That
are
way
you
we-
hoarding? Why are you hoarding all these seeds? And I'm like,
You're going to need it.
I'm not hoarding. I said, like, I was very fortunate. Joe was able to find a watermelon that grows in the north. It's amazing.
So I actually have those seeds out that I'm going to send you. It's 2 different types of zucchini.
Well, and I was going to say don't, because he sent me 2 different types of okra. I've got now 4 different types of. Everybody's been sending me zucchini seeds. Lisa and Jesse sent me, I forget how many packages. So I've got enough zucchini seeds. So save your money, and maybe somebody needs it closer to you.
Okay.
Because let's look at it this way. Zucchini you can eat as a vegetable. Zucchini you can make into bread. There's so many uses for zucchini. And I know people get sick of zucchini, but it is a very, very, very sustainable fruit.
That's funny. Jesse
What?
wants to know if they're ice melons.
The what? Who? Oh,
Jesse
ice melons.
wants to know if they're ice melons.
Moon and star melons.
That's crazy.
So as long as they get full sun for 6 hours a day, which we get more than that in the summer, I have to plant them one inch deep and put 2 or 3 seeds per group. And I need to sow them. Where am I? May. So I'm going to have to sow these roughly this afternoon if I want to get melon this year, and I want to grow watermelons. So
we tried a couple years ago to grow watermelons and cantaloupes.
Okay.
And we started them by seed, in the house. We're doing really, really good.
Yeah.
Transferred them to the garden and they disappeared.
So even for you guys, late April, June, you're supposed to plant these. So I'm early March, and I'll get fruit the end of June, which I'm okay with a month and a half of watermelons. What the heck? I know nobody around me can grow watermelon, so I'll see what I can do.
You might be able to make a little bit of money off of those watermelon.
If I grow good watermelon, I'm going to be eating my watermelon. I love watermelons. But yeah, and then he sent me 2 different types of okra seeds. One is, oh no, what the heck are these? Americana cucumbers.
Oh, those
They
are
look
good.
ugly. Huh?
Yeah.
They look like big okra. Look at the
They
middle of
do.
them. Come on.
Those are weird looking cucumbers.
I know. They look like,
I wonder if those are more of a pickling cucumber.
I don't know. And then, yeah, he sent me like a whole bunch of like peas, beans, cucumbers, and then the Star of David okra.
Yeah, those ones right there are the best to bread and fry.
The what and who?
You bread them and then fry
Okay.
them.
Like fry in oil or fry in butter?
Fry in oil.
Okay. So you're taking a healthy vegetable and turning it into a greasy snack. I love it.
Okra is good right off the vine if you don't, because the way a lot of times if you cook them, they can
Okay.
get really slimy. It just depends on how they're done, how they're prepared. They can be very slimy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like today was just about, for the people that came in late, today was just a discussion on, is it cheaper to raise your own cattle or buy from a sale barn? And the answer is if you still have your breeder stock, then yes, keep it. But there's so many. The issue is trying to get your meat inspected by, in the US, a USDA, or CIS in no, it's Canada,
CAI.
CAI, or yeah, something like that. Anyways, get them stamped on the hind, so that you can sell your beef at the farm gate. And there's more and more and more folks that are selling eggs at the farm gate. They're selling beef at the farm gate, chicken, whatever. It's so that they can actually sustain the farm. Because farms that are the size of Rob's, like this year, I don't know if we're going to get lick tubs. I had a sponsorship and it fell through.
The best thing to do is buy local.
But local has additives.
Buy from your local farmer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Raise your own food. If you can get beef, chicken, turkey, quail, whatever, rabbit.
Yeah.
If you can get a breeder pair, it would be better off for you to get a breeder pair, and then say you get a breeder pair bull heifer, that are around the same age. You have another heifer calf, okay, or it throws a bull calf. You can do one of two things. You can either go ahead and ban that calf and turn it into a steer, or if you let it grow a little bit, then you can cut it instead of band it, and then you've also got another meat source there with the Rocky Mountain oysters. So that's another source of meat. That's like, I've got to look through our deals, but when we took ours to the processor, I had them give me the tongue. I wanted the tongue. people are like, why? Well, you boil it,
Mm-hmm.
and it is some of the most tenderest meat you'll ever get off a cow. Now you've got to take all the lining and everything off of it and get to the actual meat itself.
That's right.
But you boil it as a whole, and then you peel it all off. Makes it easier, and you're not going to lose as much meat off of it. And that is some of the best. I would say that is probably one of my favorite cuts off of a cow is its
Mhm.
tongue. A lot of people are like, ooh, that's gross, or Rocky Mountain oysters, ooh, that's gross. I would never eat that. Man, I said the same thing. I would never eat them. And then I had them. And they are delicious. But they have to be prepared the right way, just like any other food. You know,
That's it.
so when you look at it on a larger scale, it's cheaper for you to raise your own food, whether it be fruits and vegetables, whether it be beef, whether it be rabbit, whether it be chicken. It's going to be cheaper on you to buy small amounts and breed them out
Mhm.
for your meat. When you're looking at meat, it's going to be cheaper on you to do it that way versus taking something to the sell barn to try to recoup money.
And you're not going to recoup your money out of the sale barn.
You're not.
If anything, you
You're not
break
going to
even.
recoup it because a lot of times I've noticed that a lot of times a lot of your big buyers at one of the local sell barns around here, they've quit buying cattle here. The only big buyers that are coming in right now to a couple of the local sell barns are all what do they call them?
Feedlots?
Feedlots. Yeah. So it's all going to be sold off for, to make glue or to go to these larger processing plants.
Yeah.
They're, I mean, you're just, I mean, if you can go to a sale barn and get a decent priced, pair,
So
by all
long as they
means.
haven't been injected. See, that's where we have a benefit over you guys. Our meat is a lot more strict. Like if there's antibiotics, I think you guys have to hold them out of the food stream for 30 days or
6 months.
something.
6 months.
Then
6
that's
months.
changed. Maybe in Oklahoma, but I know in Wyoming, like up closer to Canada, it's 30 days. Now,
So-
depending on what you're giving them too.
Right. So on average, depending on what they've got,
Yeah.
it can be anywhere from 30 days to 6 months. I've even heard of some guys, or some people who have went and bought cattle that have had antibiotics, steroids, and all of that. And they withhold everything for a year. So they give no injections for a year.
Yeah.
To make sure that all of that has been flushed from the system before they go and take them on in. That's why it's good to buy, freshly winged calves, because a lot of times they get no injections because they get all their colostrum and everything from mom.
Yep.
They may pick up a little bit if mom had an infection or something, they had to get antibiotics or something like that. But by the time it comes to butcher or to take to freezer camp,
Yeah.
that's all going to be out of the system. So you're going to have good meat that
Yep.
doesn't have steroids, doesn't have antibiotics, doesn't have anything like that in its system.
No.
It would be just like it's never gotten in a shot at all.
Yeah.
So it's better to do it that way.
Yeah.
With what I've been seeing across the market and stuff like that the last 2 days that I've done research on this. So
JB asked, how much do you guys think it would take a month to sponsor a hog or beef to butcher? It depends on the cattle.
Well, and it depends on the farmer that you're wanting to do it with.
Exactly.
Farmers
still use growth hormones. I'm sorry. It's a nasty thing. It's illegal up in Canada, but I know in the States, there is some states that they don't test for growth hormone. And that does come through the food, not in a huge amount, but they have proven that it does. So, and this is, I was trying not to get into this part of the, but we're here. So let's jump in.
I can get you out of this. Hey, JB, what are you looking to spend? What are you thinking cost-wise for your part?
I'm telling you right now.
I would have to talk to my wife, but here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
if
JB's
you'll go
not
in,
that far from me.
Nope, she's not. She's about an hour from me, roughly. So this is my thought. Okay, if you want a hog or a beef,
or both,
and it's okay with the wife. So I haven't talked to her yet, but I will talk to her. But I'm just throwing an idea out there for you. Okay. If you pay for half the pig or half the hog or half the cow, okay, we do not, if it's our beef, we only feed sweet feed during the wintertime. Okay, I get good sweet feed from our, so if you could help, half the cost of the sweet feed for what, 5 months?
Yeah, you're about 5 months that you have to worry about feeding.
Okay, because we've got the grass, we've got the hay. Okay, you'll buy the animal and pay for half the feed and any meds, and then what? Half the processing fee. Because if it's a beef, you're not going to need all that meat. Because by the time,
hey Cindy,
I mean,
hey,
you could. I mean, it just depends.
Well, it depends. She may want.
Because I mean,
it's something that you might want to talk about off.
Yeah, we will talk. We'll talk, JB. because we're, like I said, we're about an hour from you. So me, you, and my wife will sit down and we'll talk and we'll see.
It's not that it. Well, I shouldn't say it's not that it's getting more, but I know what Chris is. I know where Chris is going, and Chris is 100% grass fed, except for supplement in the winter, which in Oklahoma you have no choice. We don't have to supplement up here because we still have so many minerals and whatever in our hay. We don't have to supplement with anything up here. We have dry hay and we have green hay.
Like I don't even do salt mineral block.
Yeah. Well, and that's, that's it. You've got the mineral block that, just make sure there's no additives in it, because that's where a lot of people are getting misled. They're starting to put more and more and more fillers and less and less and less minerals, and the price has gone up 300% in the last year. So,
yeah, we will.
Yeah, like JB said, 50-50 right down the line.
We'll talk. I'll email you my number here in just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and JB is a good person, so it. But yeah, no, well, you know what, back road, absolutely, and normally we do bury the processing fee, but again, we don't know what that's going to be like in another 6-8 months. It may or may not go crazy. And yeah, it's hey Mr. Jim, thanks for all the accounts. But like I said, we went from about $400 a year in supplement, like mineral blocks, salt blocks. We're probably going to be upwards of $1,000 to do the exact same this year. And I just don't know if we can do it.
Because I know we're lucky because our cost is not that bad.
No. And you see, like, it does cost us a lot more to raise up here because we have we got to deal with 4 seasons. So we have to, we have the big heaters running for 5 months out of the year. And we have to plow. Most of the pasture, the cows will just knock it down. But you still have to, if your corrals and whatever, you still have to blow all the snow in there. And you'll see that in one of the videos I think I'm dropping on Saturday. I forget. I'm so far out right now. I've got probably about 400 hours, 200 to 400 hours of video that I have to get going. Yes, Rebecca, but that's for Mike and Aaron. That's not for farmers our size.
If you're not, I had JB's email, but I don't.
Just get her to drop it. JB,
can you drop your email address for me?
Or I can give you Chris's.
Yeah, or we can just drop mine, either way. Because I can't.
Hey, sifting some soil 55. How are you? And Patty, and I know there's some bigger channels that drop. This is what it costs. People raise animals differently. Not that they're right and not that we're wrong. Some people go on supplemental feed only. And that is going to raise your price. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. All that I know is I know how my meat's raised,
I wanted to
what
do
we feed
steaks.
it. What's that?
I was thinking I wanted to do steaks today, but
Oh,
I don't.
so we've already tapped our trees because the weather was supposed to be really good. So we have about 170 trees tapped already. Well, if it didn't turn cold on us, it's not, the weather is not playing whatsoever. So we were supposed to have a big like gathering Saturday night, and that's what we were going to do, is have fresh steaks and baked beans, and now it's got to be put off a week. But it is what it is. There you go. jbconway21@gmail.com. Just take a screenshot or take a picture of it with your phone. But, I can just speak from experience. The farms that have to supplement in Canada is because they haven't put the nutrients back into the pastures. The same as now, you guys down there, it's well known. Your grass does not have the minerals. Like I was telling Chris, I'm in a county where a lot of our grass goes down to the racehorses in Florida. Every year, there's probably 15 to 30 truckloads go right by my house, headed down to Florida to feed all the racehorses down around Florida, because your grass is nothing down there. Where up here, we have so many minerals and nutrients in our soil, which goes into our hay, that they feed high bloodline animals the same thing as what my cattle eat for free. So it's, yeah.
Well, and Patty was telling JB she knows that Keeping It Dutch and Keeping Up with the Walkers broke down the cost of raising their pigs. And
Yeah.
I know Hidden Heights farm buy pigs and market them to you, and they raise them all in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which I raised. Mine are all raised here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And she was like, then she come back with not grass and hay fed, you do on your own, that cuts your costs down considerably.
A little bit, not considerably. Don't forget that farmer's got to drag the field. They have to prep for the hay. A lot of times they have to do supplemental planting, which means turn up. Some put oats and that grow that actually they have a little bit of nutrients and minerals to feed both cattle and pigs. And, it's like I said, everybody, like Daniel, all the hay that comes off his property, he doesn't, he's showing everybody several times. He has to supplemental plant. So that takes a lot of money. We just talked about that not that long ago. Seeds up, double, almost 200% since last year. The one fella from Minnesota that was in here earlier, he very, very fortunate that they locked in at that price at $1,200 a ton. Like that just goes. Hey, Laura, that just goes. Yeah, it goes to show that there's so many variables, and it's hopefully.
Well, and I've got to drag my pasture before the grass gets too high.
Yeah.
So I'll drag it because mine is all naturally fertilized by my horse, and my donkeys. And when I had the cow out here, or when I had that steer out here. So
Yep.
I'll drag it so that it breaks everything down. It spreads everything out a little bit. So I'm going to drag it actually this spring when it's dry, or that way when
As
it's a
soon as
little
it goes
drier.
from wet to dry, you drag it.
Yep. I'll drag it out, after it dries out from this 1 to 3 inches of snow we're supposed to get tonight and tomorrow.
Absolutely, JB. And you know what? I know what you're going to get with Chris. And I stand behind Chris because I know what he feeds his animals. I've seen the feed that he gives his animals.
In fact,
He
I
took
took you
us.
on a tour of the
Yeah, you took us on a tour of the farms
the
or
feed store.
the feed store. That's it. I was
And-
talking to the lady who was doing the register.
Who was ringing me up. And the thing of it is that the guy and his wife that run this feed store, they do not get anything they would not feed their own animals because
is he
they
not
have
a
a farm
veteran as well?
themselves. Huh?
And isn't he a veteran as well?
He is a veteran as well.
Enough said right there.
They do not sell anything in their feed store that they would not feed their own animals. In fact, they do feed their animals the same stuff they're selling to us. Him and his wife both have done the research. They've gone with companies that don't put a lot of extra hormones or additives and stuff like that in their feed. One of the biggest mills that they go through is Stillwater Mills here in Oklahoma. It's a local, it's an Oklahoma mill, and they sell all across the state of Oklahoma. They sell into Arkansas and other places. They are very, very good at what they do. They don't put a lot of steroids and junk in their feed. He also has a couple of other companies that they work very closely with that are the same way. That's why sometimes his feed can be a little more expensive at times, but you're paying for better quality feed.
You pay for what you get.
You pay for what you get. And so, yeah, like I said, we'll talk. I'll get with my wife and we'll talk, and that might be the way to go for us, is to look at, because we're getting one no matter what in the spring. One way or the other, we're looking at getting another steer in the spring. Plus having my neighbor who's worked the sale barns. He's very well known in the area for cattle and stuff like that. So he's going to help us look when we get ready. I know pigs are going for like $150 at the sale barn right down the road from us for and that's a butcher ready pig for $150. So
good God, I wish.
What?
I'm paying more than that for bacon seeds.
The last time I checked, it was $150 roughly for butcher weight, about 250 pounds, which is right at butcher weight.
Yeah.
But I would actually raise them a little bit more. I would raise them I would put them I don't know that I would do another 600-pound pig, but
yeah, no. That's a little too big.
I would probably take it in around 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Um,
I was hearing a whole
Target
bunch of
Field
beeping
Store.
and everything back there, and I was like, what the heck?
Where is that, Patty? Where is Pargan Field Store at?
Hey, Melvina. Welcome.
Paragon.
Yep. I don't think Patty's that far from you either. Because I know she was just at Ed's. So
I'm looking. Like the closest one to me is Sepulpa.
yeah, JB, he's got barrels. They're going next week because Sarah needs her card filled out again, so they're taking a trip down next week.
Yeah. And guys, don't forget those that can make it.
Paragon Ridge.
Paragon Ridge.
Oh, Mounds, Oklahoma. It's Chrissy from Paragon Ridge.
Mounds, Oklahoma. I am. Give me a second. I'll tell you exactly how far I am from there.
Maybe 150 pounds on 600.
What?
Because you take Jesse asked how much would be the take-home weight after processing. So if you start out with a 600 pound, you cut half is the skin,
So
and then once you go to bone, you're going to be about 150, 200 pounds of meat at the most.
our steer weighed around 560, I think it was. 560, 580 is what he weighed when we took him in. And our hanging weight was 287, so just under 300 pounds. Was our hanging weight. Like I said, we split it up 3 ways, and everybody got like 96 pounds.
Patty said Oklahoma line is about 4 hours from her. Oh, a hog weight?
I am exactly 1 hour and 23 minutes from Mounds.
A hog weight, you're looking, Jesse. If you've got a 300 pound hog, you're looking at about 150 pounds of meat, give or take.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying if we raise him to about 400 pounds, that's going to give us about 200 pounds of meat, roughly. Between 200 and 250 pounds of meat.
Well, you see, and you get that extra oomph over what we do, because you guys have to, like, our pigs do like hay, so we give it to them, but it doesn't put on the amount of weight as giving them sweet feed.
So, the way that we usually do it, I mean, we would give him hay. And
so there you go. Hey, Jesse's looking at doing a hog share as well.
All right. Well, like I said, we'll talk. But we fed our hog sweet feed. And then he would eat hay, and when he was out in the pasture, he would root around and eat whatever. And I'm gonna tell you, I cooked up those pork chops the other day. I cooked up some of those pork chops, And everybody told me, man, he's going to stink when you cook him. He's going to taste terrible, because he was 600 pounds and still intact.
Oh,
So
okay.
he was a boar hog. He was still
Yeah.
intact. Man, that is some of the best meat.
How
Like,
much?
it
How
is.
long did you let it hang?
So we bled it out. He hung overnight,
Okay.
and then we broke him down the next day, and I put him in ice. I put him in the ice chest and then poured ice on him.
Wow. You're really fortunate, because a lot of people have to brine. They're, being that big, you were very, very fortunate.
Well,
Any of the ones up here, I would never eat it.
before I broke him down, before we
Yeah.
broke him down, I took my knife and I cut a chunk out of, I took a chunk off I took a chunk off of his loin, like his tenderloin, or the back strap. I took a chunk off of it, and I took a little chunk out of the ham. Now the ham was tough. It was a little tough because it was the ham. We hadn't
Sure.
cured it or anything like that yet, so it was still tough.
The chops would be good, though.
But the taste of the meat, like our pork chops, were so good.
Yeah.
Like, the meat was so good. And that's because of what we fed him.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had no sows, and the last time he had bred was probably 3 years prior.
Okay.
So all of those hormones, and pheromones from being around a hog in heat, there was none of that.
Oh, dear God, Patty. I've heard of making head cheese, but just adding the brain to scrambled eggs? No thanks.
Yeah. I don't do brain. I've
So
not done brain. Now the head cheese, all that is the meat off the head.
that's the jowls and
The jowls, it's just all the meat off the head.
yeah. So Jesse, where do you want me to send the maple syrup now that you're not coming? Shall I send it right to Chris?
But yeah, like I said, Jesse, we'll talk. JB, we'll talk. We'll get with my wife. We'll all do a conference call or something, and we'll all talk. So,
well, and you know what? It's helping you out as well,
oh yeah,
because you were talking about doing this anyways.
right.
After the lovely government did the same to you as what they did to me, but you're a veteran, I'm not.
Right.
Which is, yeah.
I mean, either
Both
way,
both
we're
our
probably
governments did.
we're probably still going to get, a young steer of our own as well on
Oh
top of it.
yeah.
So,
Well, for family.
and we'll split that. I mean, we split it with our neighbor, because he does a lot for us. We get our hay from him. In fact, we're actually talking now, because the land that he's got some of his cattle on, they may be losing after next year. So he's going to need something to do with those 7-8 head of cows that he's got down there. And so I told him, I was like, dude, why don't you just go ahead and move them over here onto my place? They'll be a lot closer. You'll save money in gas. You just do what you were doing with them down there. They'll just be a whole lot closer. I said, and plus come spring, summer, when all this grass grows, I won't have to brush hog 3 or 4 times a year.
You get yourself 2 or 3 steers out there, you ain't gonna have to brush hog anymore.
I put 3 steers on here, and I'll still have to brush hog.
Oh, really? The grass is that?
The grass
Wow.
grows that fast and is that yeah. It would take 7 to 8 head to keep it to where I wouldn't have to brush hog at all. I have that much grass that grows yearly here. And usually
That's
when
awesome.
I brush hog, by the time I get to brush hog, the grass out in the pasture is waist high or better.
Wow. What's going on? Like, shouldn't you be cutting logs or delivering logs, or you're
Doing
sneaking?
schoolwork.
Yeah, or doing, well, there's schoolwork too, yes. But usually by this time they're out in the bush. Unless they did the bush in the morning and they're doing schoolwork and mama doesn't know he's on his phone. Shh, your secret's safe with me, brother.
So yeah, like I said, we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. And that, it's going to help you. It's going to help them. They get reasonably, raised meat.
I don't know how I'm going to get it to Jesse.
He's got an RV.
It would cost him less to come up here, than and do it this way than.
All's what they can do. They can just turn it into a trip and run the RV up to your place.
Yeah. Most definitely.
He just has to get one of those small deep freezes that, he can put in there and fill up his deep freeze and go.
No. A couple of ice chests and dry ice.
Oh, yeah.
Put a layer of dry ice on the bottom, put your meat in, a layer of dry ice on top. It'll keep all the way to Texas.
Oh, plus some.
Yeah. And the thing is that where we take ours, they vacuum seal all their meat.
Okay.
So it comes already vacuum sealed. Except for the hamburger, it's just put, in the ground beef wraps.
Yeah.
But steaks, all of that stuff comes vacuum sealed. So it will easily stack in an ice chest.
And you get less freezer burn that way as well.
Yes, you do. So
if any, pack in one of them donkeys and head to the south.
No, because if you take one, you'll kill the other one. Donkeys are crazy. Yeah. If you raise a pair of donkeys together, you have to sell them both as a pair. You cannot separate them, because if you do, they'll die of depression.
Yeah, but Chris, Sarah's on one with the hog, you're on the other with the beef, and the two of yous are heading down to Texas on your donkeys.
Oh, right.
Works.
They're not, I mean, they're big enough to pack, but they're not big enough to ride.
Okay, well then you're walking to Texas.
Not.
But alrighty, guys. Well, we've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I guess the long and short of it is buy local. Know where you're getting your meat. Unfortunately, the store's just going to keep going higher and higher and higher. And that's why people are saying now you can sometimes buy meat cheaper from a farmer. And as long as, we don't get it inspected because it costs more, we actually cut our own up. But we get around that by selling halves and quarters. And they're there whenever we process it.
Well,
it works.
And I was looking, and there's been some there's been quite a few truck drivers that have come out and said that they are getting ready to band together and shut down like they did in Canada.
They already are.
Yeah, they've started, but there are more and more and more that are like, yep, we're just going to shut them down. So your local farmers are going to need your help.
Yeah. To be able to sustain the farm and raise what we do, and that's it. People are going to have to band together, and it's very fortunate. We have a sustainable meat on our farm. We sell only calf. We only sell yearlings. That's all he sells. The bull only breeds the mamas, so we never have to get rid of the bull. Barney is there until he drops. And I don't know if it's in this one or the next one. It might actually be in Sunday or Monday's video. But the temperament of this guy is unbelievable. Like, I was sitting there petting him. How many people are going to go up to a 2,500-pound bull and pet him? He knows us. Now,
I would.
Exactly. You show that you've got any type of hesitation towards him, he can pick that up. He gets that right away. So, but so do the girls. They start swinging around the one on Saturday. I think, I don't know if it's this one or the next. Anyways, one of the girls, I had to cut it like my video. I had to cut my video off.
Yes, it is, Jesse.
What's that?
He was asking if that was JB's email address.
Oh, okay.
And it is.
Yeah. So she got her horns stuck in the gate. Well, I tell you what, I'm a pretty big fella. I wasn't moving her. I had to go get some more corn and throw a little bit strategically underneath Barney's front legs so that she'd take her head and pull it out. Oh, anyways, we got her out. She's fine. But it's just, yeah. I just hope people will support local farmers, because you're going to see who's going to be able to feed you longer. Your local farmer or the grocery store.
Your local
and I'm telling you right now,
you
it's the local farmer.
Yep.
Because every year, these, Rob gets roughly 10 calves out of his girls every year. Because there's always one that misses, or not too many miscarry, but there's a couple that miss, and they come up empty. Yeah, I wouldn't be. You never know who's lurking around, JB. I wouldn't be putting that out.
Yeah.
Or if you have Instagram, you can get everybody on Instagram as well. But yeah, no, I just, I appreciate everybody that, that supports local. And you know what? Yeah, local people support us. And I'm hoping local people are going to help Chris get 2 breeder stock, 3 breeder stock, 4 breeder stock, so that he can start doing a sustainable farm as well. And he can grow, more meat for more people down there. And it helps a veteran right there, So it today, hopefully, if anything, people take that from it, is that your local farmer is going to be able to give you eggs chicken, turkeys, beef, pork, long after the grocery store.
Yep.
Because the local farmers not selling to feedlots anymore. They can't afford it. Like Chris said, the one fella, he ended up paying the sale barn because they undersold his cattle. And by the time they charged their fee and whatever, he owed them money. That's criminal. But if he was able to sell it on the farm, yes, USDA is a little more expensive, but it's a lot better. And
Well,
there is ways
here
to get
we don't
around.
have the regulations that you guys have.
Yes.
So like I can go to a farm and buy a cow off a farmer, bring it to the house, raise it up, take it straight to the slaughter or straight to freezer camp.
Yeah.
And have no quorums about it.
Exactly.
And do a whole beef that way. And, be out whatever the processing fee is and, whatever we feed. So, we're doing it to feed us, to feed friends, and to feed family. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Jessie, she's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, she's in Northeast Oklahoma on 10 Killer Lake.
Yogi's in South Dakota.
Yep. Yogi Holly Farm is in South Dakota. Jesse, she is about an hour and 20 minutes from me, south of me.
Yeah. So pretty much she'd be halfway to Louisiana from where you are. No, she's northeast. Northeast, isn't it?
She's in Northeast Oklahoma. JB's in Northeast Oklahoma.
Yes. Okay. All right. And I believe that's the lake that I heard Mike and Terry say they wanted to go fish at or somewhere around there.
It's one of the better lakes to fish at.
So, anyways. Oh, okay. Because, two parks are the same. That's why Jesse questioned it.
Yeah, you'll just have to put in Whitetail Run RV Park in Oklahoma or on 10 Killer Lake, Oklahoma.
But
Lake 10 Killer.
Anyways, so yeah, as long as, and everybody taking it on the rerun, just know that we're right across the board. A local farmer is now paying about 300% more. Feed, gas, seeds, fertilizer, and it's almost to the point where it's not sustainable anymore to,
Nope.
They're going to cut down on the amount.
When these truckers shut completely down, that's really the only way you're going to get anything is from your local farmer.
Fresh meat. Absolutely. Yeah. Now you're going to get delivery drivers, local delivery drivers. Like if you have an egg farm, you'll get that kind of thing. But for like any truck to be trucking it across state lines or whatever, the only way you're going to get fresh meat, unfortunately, is from your local farmer. And they're not out to gouge you. They're out to cover their costs
and to make a small profit.
Well, you don't make a small profit. Guess what? How do you replace your barn? How do you replace the fence whenever a calf decides to run through it? Stuff has to be.
Neighbor. I told him, I said, before, if you decide to bring them over, those cattle over,
Yep.
I said, before we do so, I'll need your help because we'll need to go through and tighten up fence, fix fence wherever it's
Yep.
broke or whatever. I said, and once we do that, then you're more than welcome to put them here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing is that he helps me, I help him. And, you know, neither one of us is, you know, I mean, he bought
Type your email in. Patty Price wants your email.
It's E3Farmstead at gmail.com.
And if you go to his about page, Patty, it's there
It's
as
on
well.
there. Yeah.
But you know that, and Heather, that's great. In Canada, I have 4 farms that are dairy. They're all jerseys.
I'm in StreamYard. It won't let me.
I can't what?
It won't let me type into the comments.
Oh, right. Yeah, you know, you'd have to go over
Because
to
I'm
your
in
phone.
StreamYard.
Yeah, you'd have to go over to your phone, but it doesn't matter. Jesse dropped it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse.
I have 4 farms right around me that are milk producers. I can't go buy raw milk. It's illegal in Canada. And they charge. There's a fella about an hour and a half from where I am, just got charged this year $1,700 for buying a gallon of fresh milk. $1,700 a gallon. Ouch.
Yeah.
So we don't even, you know, I would not even, and that's just the guy that came up and bought it. That's not the farmer. So I'd hate to know what the farmer.
I'd hate to see that fine.
If they didn't pull his license, you're looking at probably $50,000 to $100,000 fine. And again, people just can't afford that.
No.
Over raw milk. Like, seriously. You know, they're all worried about contaminants and whatever. I'm sorry, but if I know the guy right up, well, he's actually halfway between my house and Rob's house. And he has never once tested for bad milk. Should be able to sell. But no, the government wants all the milk. It's a racket. It's another.
Heather says they don't sell raw milk.
Oh, well, you can't sell raw milk. Where is it? Missouri, it's legal to sell raw milk.
You can sell raw milk in Missouri. There's a lot of southern states that you can sell raw milk in.
Yeah. So, you know, all that I'm saying is, you know, it's we help our own. And
That's why I'm looking for a Jersey heifer as well.
Okay.
So that
So
I
just
can
keep her for milk.
Yep. Because
I
my neighbor's
some
going to
people-
let me breed her to either his Brahma, because he's got a Brahma bull, or his Hereford bull. Both throw small calves.
Okay.
So it'd be great for that first time heifer.
Well, and if that doesn't work, you can buy, you know, IAs for under $100 and do it yourself.
Yeah.
And you can breed it to whatever you want. You can sex it to whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the only thing is a lot of people are trying to raise jerseys to eat. Number one, I don't like the taste. Number two, they're not meant for meat. They're more lean. Like, they're bone. I don't know.
That's
You
what
don't get a
mine
whole lot of
was a
meat off a
Jersey.
Jersey. What's that?
Mine was a Jersey.
Really? So how old was it to get the 600 pounds?
It was around 2.
Okay. My Highland, being a small calf, sorry. My calf was born in April. It's now a month away from its roughly a month away from its birthday, and it's about 550 pounds, eating grass.
Now,
But it's meant for meat. Actually, you can drink.
he was up to around 700 pounds, but then jacked up that hind leg
Yeah.
and dropped a lot of weight.
Okay.
Because I guess it dislocated that hip. We couldn't get it before, and when we caught it, we couldn't get it relocate. We couldn't get it to relocate, and so it grew jacked up. I mean, he still got around, but not very fast.
Yeah.
So he didn't eat a whole lot. He didn't. I mean, he ended up losing. He ended up losing like 100, 150 pounds.
Yeah. Which is
he'd actually lost a lot more than that, but had put that much back. I mean, he was probably down to around 400 pounds. He was about just skin and bone, and we worked really hard to get him back up to what he was before we took him to freezer camp.
Yeah. So, I don't know. How do you, I just, like I say, prepare yourself. I don't want to sound like one of these guys that run around with a tinfoil hat on saying, the end of the world's coming. It's not. And, if it is
in due time, but
yes,
not tomorrow.
Absolutely. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. Now, I can't say the same for a full grocery store. And, like I say, there's a lot of small hobby farms that are gearing up for when this happens. That, to sell or to buy poultry, you need to have them inspected or it has to be sold as dog food. So we sell our birds as dog food. Just no dogs eat our food.
Yeah, but you have no control over what happens after you sell it.
Absolutely. If they eat it,
you're selling it for dog food. If
absolutely.
they don't feed it to their dogs, that's not on you.
Nope. Hey, Billy. And that's it. And it's kind of sad that you have to do it, but you have to do it. There's a lot of lamb and goat farmers up here that are doing the same as well. They can't afford cows, so they're getting the best flavor they can in either, sheep or goats.
I would love to get a few lambs because I think it's $50 to process a lamb where I'm going now.
Okay. And
some
people love it,
I love lamb.
It's something that, if you can buy a couple just after weaning and grass, raise them on grass. But again, it's going to cost you to buy an electric fence, so there's always and more. And hopefully the increases stop soon. because the little guy can't sustain any more than what has already been tossed. How can you add 300% and still make a go? You can't, you know? But yeah. Anyways, I think we beat this one to death.
Yeah,
And by the looks of it, you're going to have a busy spring.
looks that way. That's all right. I need something to keep me busy.
Well, that's it. And Sarah's going to agree because you're out of her hair. So, anyways, guys, till the next time, we will definitely talk at you guys later. And the next live is 8:30 Saturday night. I'm not doing Fridays anymore. So, and nobody has said that they wanted to step up and do it. So, as far as I know, my time for Friday is still wide open. So if anybody does take that time slot, let me know and I will let folks know. But anyways, we will definitely talk to you guys all later and hopefully we'll see you Saturday night. We'll talk